October 24th. As the U.S. Marshals, Pasco County Sheriff's Office, and Dade City Police Department were preparing for a canine deployment, they observed Marion jump out of a rear two-story window of the residence. A foot chase began. A perimeter was quickly established. However, Marion evaded arrest by entering a heavily wooded area that was behind the home. A short time later, Marion was seen getting into a car driven by a female and attempting to flee. The U.S. Marshals, Pasco County Sheriff's deputies, and Dade City police officers were able to stop the vehicle and take Marion into custody. The female driver of the vehicle was Marion's girlfriend, Kailani Lott. She was also arrested and charged with fleeing to elude, resist officer without violence, and child neglect. Marion remains in Pasco County Jail charged with felon in possession of a firearm, discharge of a firearm in public, shooting at or into a vehicle, shooting at or into a residence, criminal mischief, resist arrest without violence, and the violation of probation for manslaughter. I would now like to introduce our Hillsborough County State Attorney, Susie Lopez, who will be followed by Plant City Mayor Nate Kilton and Plant City City Manager Bill McDaniel for comments.
Thank you, Chief. This is not the first time that Baron Marion has been in trouble with the law in Hillsborough County. Back in February of 2019, he was 17 years old when he got into an argument over a bike right here in Plant City. Mr. Marion was 17 years old when he shot and killed the person that he was in an argument with over that bike, a 51-year-old man. I was not the state attorney at that time. At that time, our office handled juvenile gun violence very differently than we do now. Mr. Marion got a deal under Andrew Warren. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter with a weapon and tampering with physical evidence. He got 5 years in prison. 5 years in prison for murdering someone over a bike. He was released from that 5-year prison sentence in January of this year and began a probation sentence. I have news for Mr. Marion. Things in Hillsborough County have changed under my watch. We will hold you accountable for gun violence now. This defendant, earlier this month, fired a gun at victims who were inside of a vehicle, and bullets even made it into a nearby home. He will now be facing 35 years in the Florida State Prison for his violations of probation. All I can say is that it was by the grace of God that no one was injured or killed when this incident occurred on October 16th. He also has other pending charges: felon in possession of a firearm, shooting at or within to a vehicle, shooting at or within to a dwelling, discharge of a firearm in public, criminal mischief. He's facing 105 years in the Florida State Prison for those new charges, 35 on the violations of probation, an additional 105 for the new charges. This defendant is a perfect example of why we must take juvenile gun violence so seriously. If you make an adult decision with a firearm, you will be held accountable under my watch. Because history shows us that by the time a juvenile chooses to murder someone with a firearm, they've already had multiple chances, multiple opportunities through the juvenile justice system. The juvenile justice system simply isn't designed to handle these types of... Oh, good Lord.
I want to take a break and fix that real quick.
Did I touch the podium?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goodness. Thank you, Mayor. Got it. The juvenile justice system simply isn't designed to handle these types of cases. These cases are meant for adult court, and you will be charged as an adult. Let me make something very clear. I don't enjoy charging juveniles as adults. It's one of the hardest things that we as prosecutors do. But we have to keep our community safe, because keeping our community safe is our top priority. I'm begging parents to talk to their kids. Talk to them about the consequences that they face if they make a bad decision with a firearm. There are other ways around settling problems. Firearms are not the answer. I want our community members to know that reducing gun violence is one of my top priorities as your state attorney. We do that in partnership with our law enforcement partners like the Tampa Police Department, where I worked with Chief Mills for so many years, as well as the Plant City Police Department. We do that by making sure that violent offenders are held accountable, and by working with our community, members of our community, to get guns out of the hands of young people. I want to thank the Plant City Police Department for your work on this case and everything that they do every day. Thank you.
So first, I really want to thank Chief Mills. Thank you and your team for an outstanding job. In Plant City, we have tremendous respect and appreciation for our first responders, and to you, Attorney Susie Lopez, for being a great partner, for being tough on crime. It's one thing to lock them up. It's for us to chase them down and put them in prison. It's another thing for our state attorney to make sure that they stay there. And this was a great example of law enforcement working together. Obviously, our detectives are phenomenal in Plant City, but being able to bring in other resources like the U.S. Marshals is so important. We're not going to hesitate to bring in other folks, too, if it needs to be the DEA, the FBI, the Sheriff's Department, whatever it takes to turn over rocks. There's no tolerance for crime in Plant City, especially violent crime. And this is a great example of how we track them down. You know, I almost kind of think of them as bloodhounds, right? You can run, you can try to hide, but they're eventually going to get you. And when they do, they're going to turn you over to the bulldog, and that's Susie Lopez. And she's going to make sure that you stay in jail for a long, long time. So if you're a criminal, I don't know why you would think you're going to get away with it. This day and age, there's cameras everywhere. There's cameras on homes, there's cameras on businesses. Everybody has a cell phone. You're going to get tracked. We're going to find you, and we're going to put you away. So if you have any sense at all, and I know that's an oxymoron. If you're a criminal, you're stupid by definition. But have a little bit of sense and stay out of Plant City.
I want to commend Chief Mills and the Plant City Police Department on the work in this case. Recently, the Chief and I have had discussions about his stance on intolerance of gun violence and violence in general in Plant City. He's outlined a very strong approach that I support fully. We'll bring all of the assets of the city and its operations, as well as our police department, to bear to see that the Chief's policy is successful. This case is but the most recent example of this strategy that he is embarking upon, and I think that we'll continue to see successes like this moving forward. I echo the mayor's words about don't come to Plant City to commit acts of violence. We are going to take it seriously. We are going to follow through on it. We are going to work with our local, our state, and our federal partners to make sure that justice is done. I thank our state attorney, Susie Lopez, for what she is doing to support these efforts. As the mayor said, our police department can track them down and put the handcuffs on them, but we need a strong state attorney backing us to make sure that justice is brought to bear in these cases. I'm confident that we're going to see that, and I look forward to more successes, Chief. Let's keep it up.
So when I took the oath of office, I pledged to build the Plant City Police Department on the foundation of cops, community, and collaboration. The officers at the Plant City Police Department work tirelessly every day to ensure the safety and well-being of our residents. In the face of this shooting incident, their swift response was impressive. Through meticulous investigation and collaboration with our law enforcement partners, they were able to quickly identify, locate, and charge a dangerous criminal who posed a significant threat to our community and who is now off of our streets. I want to express my sincere gratitude to the community member who reported this incident. Their vigilance and immediate action played a critical role in our ability to respond rapidly and initiate the investigation quickly. This incident serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of community involvement in keeping our city safe. The successful apprehension of Barry Marion is a testament to the strength of our partnership with other law enforcement agencies. We do have here the supervisor over the U.S. Marshal Task Force in Tampa, Daryl Diamond. He is with us on the end. Thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for the partnership that we have. We truly value that, and we look forward to working with you in the future. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office and the Dade City Police Department provided invaluable assistance in arresting this suspect and making all of our communities safer. These collaborative efforts are essential in combating crime and ensuring the safety of our residents, and I truly value those relationships. I understand gun violence is an increasing concern, and together we can reverse this trend. This arrest underscores the importance of an active and engaged community that doesn't hesitate to say something when they see something. The road to this arrest began with one of our community members speaking up, which serves as a testament to the power of our collective efforts to keep our city safe. As Chief of Police, I want to make it unequivocally clear to Plant City, the residents of Plant City, the criminals of Plant City, and our community. Gun violence will not be tolerated in Plant City anymore. For those committing these crimes, know that there are consequences for choosing to illegally possess, brandish, or use guns. And as our state attorney, Susie Lopez, just said, once it's handed over to her, good luck. We are committed to taking decisive action to ensure the safety and security of our residents, and we will continue to work closely with our county, state, and federal prosecutors to ensure that those who commit these crimes are held accountable. I want to assure our community that the safety and security of Plant City remains our top priority. We will continue to work diligently to prevent and address violent crime, and we will always strive to maintain meaningful relationships within our community and with our partnering local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. Now I'm going to go ahead and open it up to any questions.
Chief, first off, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Secondly, can you tell me a little bit about how, where, why this argument that erupted into gunfire began? What happened?
So, as I stated before, this was captured on video surveillance, which a portion of that video surveillance will be available to you guys afterwards. Captain McClellan is our captain over the Criminal Investigations Unit, and he will have that for you after the press conference. There's a lot of unknowns here, unfortunately. You know, he's captured on video surveillance, entering that store that I talked about. And then coming out of a store, he pays close special attention to a unidentified male in the black sedan. He's seen basically conducting surveillance on this individual. And then as the vehicle drove away, he put himself in a position where it clearly shows that he ran to his position, crouched down, and fired a firearm specifically at that vehicle. Unfortunately, we don't know who the driver of that vehicle is at this time, and we don't know what surrounded why Barry Marion chose to shoot at that specific vehicle at that specific time.
But the evidence that you have from that video surveillance doesn't show any kind of verbal or physical altercation in that convenience store?
No, it literally shows Mr. Marion inside the store. As he exits the store, he kind of glances over towards this black sedan. You can tell that he's locked on the male that was standing at the driver's side, but he was standing outside the vehicle. And then it's very, very clear that he keeps constant surveillance on that individual and that vehicle the entire time.
Chief, how frustrating is it for you that that Baron Marion was out of jail after 5 years, where it's probably fair to say that he learned nothing?
It's very frustrating, and that's kind of why I wanted to have this press conference to make a stance and send a very, very clear message to those that are in Plant City that choose to carry guns or use guns or fire guns, shoot guns, whether it hits somebody or doesn't hit somebody, that we're taking it very seriously. Them getting away with it is in the past. We are focusing on violent crime in Plant City, and we will, if you utilize a gun, if you brandish a gun, if you shoot at somebody or you shoot at a house or a car, we are going to fine you, we are going to arrest you, and then we will fully prosecute you.
Madam State Attorney, I ask you, how do you balance, people who say that the juvenile brain is undeveloped, they don't fully recognize the consequences of their actions, versus an individual twice committed violent acts of gunfire.
Juveniles have to be held accountable. Juvenile court is appropriate when someone breaks into a car and steals some sunglasses, but when you make an adult decision, especially one with a firearm, there's no scenario where a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old is legally allowed to have a gun. They're making an adult decision and they're going to be held accountable. It's plain and simple. He killed someone at the age of 17 over a bike. It boggles my mind, to be quite honest with you, and he was given a slap on the wrist. We're grateful that he has a probationary sentence to add to the number of years that he's looking at in the Florida State Prison.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last question if there's any additional.
I do have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you guys talked about, talking about how there's no violence here in Plant City. You don't want that to happen. You guys hit a little bit on a plan to maybe tackle that. What are the plans for the future to really combat that and, get that message out to residents that want to come in here and, do harm to residents of Plant City?
So when I came in, when I was sworn in, and as the city manager said, we have sat down and had several conversations on what to do going forward. We have also brainstormed with our three captains and with the two new deputy chiefs. And our short-term plan is to just build the relationships with the partnering law enforcement agencies, specifically the federal law enforcement agencies. We're in the process of actually adding one of our police officers to the FBI task force. They're going to become an FBI task force officer. She should be sworn in here within the next couple weeks. So we're going to have that liaison that can go straight to the FBI, and then obviously the FBI will work in conjunction with the FBI during investigations. We're doing the same thing with the ATF. Here very, very soon, we're going to be adding one of our police officers here at the Plant City Police Department on an ATF task force. They'll be on the ATF task force. We've also had several meetings and conversations with the FBI. They've actually come here. Their SAC has come here, and what they're going to do is they're going to provide us with 2 additional crime analysts. So what they're going to do, they're going to work along with our crime analysts here at the Plant City Police Department and kind of try to narrow down exactly what's going on and where it's going on, so we know where to allocate our resources and what we need to focus on. We also have the Tampa Police Department. They incorporated a program. It's called the VIP program. So basically, people that are high profile or have a high propensity of committing violent crimes, they are on a list. They put themselves on a list. So we actually have a meeting with the Tampa Police Department. I believe it's next week or the week after, and we're looking at maybe incorporating that VIP program here in Plant City. So those are just some of the things that we're proactively doing. But again, I can't say enough about our detectives that we have on hand and on staff right now. They really do an amazing job at what they do, and putting these cases together and then presenting them to the state attorney's office. And then obviously we're gonna focus on that also. Just keep doing what we're doing. Thank you all.